They're still side by side with 50. Lyles trying to find something. He stretches away. It is a global title.
Noah Lyles has already won big races. He has medals that most runners only dream about. But if one gold medal is not enough to make you great, then what really makes a runner a legend? For Noah Lyles, stepping into that space was never about copying what Bolt did. It was about understanding what Bolt represented and deciding what the next era needed to become. Lyles has never seen a single gold medal as a final destination. To him, one gold is proof of ability, not proof of legacy. Winning once means you arrived. Winning repeatedly, across years, under pressure, and in different moments is what changes how history remembers you. In a sport where attention fades quickly, Lyles believes consistency and impact matter more than one perfect race. That belief did not come from ego. It came from watching how fast champions are replaced in public memory. Track and field celebrates heroes during Olympic summers, then often forgets them in between. Lyles understands that if athletes want lasting relevance, they must create something bigger than medals alone. From early in his career, Lyles viewed sprinting as more than crossing a finish line first. He saw it as a platform. Medals gave him credibility, but credibility alone was not enough. He wanted influence. He wanted to pull track and field into conversations where it had been absent for years. This mindset shaped how he approached competition. Every race was not just a chance to win, but a chance to reinforce dominance. One gold medal could be dismissed as a moment. Multiple golds force recognition. That is why he has repeatedly said that one title does not satisfy him. It does not secure his place in history, and it does not move the sport forward in a meaningful way. The post-Bolt era created both opportunity and pressure. Without a single dominant figure towering over the field, sprinting became more open, but also more fragmented. Different champions emerged at different meets, making it harder for casual fans to follow a central storyline. Lyles recognized that gap early. He understood that track needed faces, rivalries, and narratives that extended beyond one championship. For him, medals are not just personal achievements. They are tools. Each podium finish strengthens his voice. Each title gives him leverage to speak about the sport's future, athlete visibility, and the need for year-round engagement. Without medals, those conversations lose weight. With medals, they carry authority. This perspective also explains why Lyles embraces pressure rather than avoids it. He does not shy away from expectations. He understands that being the face of an era requires more than speed. It requires presence. It requires accountability. It requires showing up when it matters most, even when the spotlight feels heavy. Behind that confidence is a strong support system. Lyles often credits the people closest to him for keeping him grounded. Family, coaches, and trusted teammates help him maintain balance in a sport that can quickly consume an athlete's identity. That grounding allows him to think long-term rather than chase short bursts of validation. The meaning of medals changed for Lyles as his career evolved. Early on, medals were proof that his training worked. Later, they became confirmation that he belonged among the best. Now, they represent responsibility. Each medal raises expectations, not just for him, but for the sport's visibility and growth. He believes modern track stars must do more than win. They must attract attention in non-Olympic years. They must bring energy to regular season meets. They must make fans care when the world is not watching by default. That is where Lyles sees his role expanding beyond the track. Winning one gold does not guarantee sustained relevance. History shows many Olympic champions who faded from public consciousness within a single cycle. Lyles wants to avoid that fate by building a body of work that cannot be ignored. Multiple championships, consistent performances, a clear identity that fans can recognize and follow. In the Bolt era, dominance was obvious. Records fell, titles piled up. In the current era, dominance must be constructed differently. Lyles understands that repeating success across different stages is how modern greatness is measured. That is why he views every season as part of a larger narrative rather than an isolated campaign. He also understands the role of storytelling. Bolt's success was magnified by how it was presented. Lyles embraces that lesson. He brings personality, emotion, and confidence to the sport, not as a gimmick, but as a way to keep audiences engaged. He knows that numbers alone do not grow a sport. Stories do. At the same time, Lyles remains deeply focused on performance. His ambition is not empty talk. It is backed by preparation, discipline, and constant refinement. He studies competition. He adapts his approach. He understands that medals only matter if they are earned against the best when the stakes are highest. This is why he often speaks about legacy instead of trophies. Legacy is built over time. It requires patience. It requires resilience during losses and composure during wins. Lyles wants to be remembered as someone who reshaped expectations for sprinters, not just someone who had a few great moments. The post-Bolt era has also forced athletes to define themselves without direct comparison. Lyles does not chase Bolt's records as a measure of self-worth. He respects them, but he knows his path is different. His success will be judged by how he elevated the sport in his own way. For Lyles, medals validate effort, but they do not define purpose. Purpose comes from impact. Impact comes from consistency, leadership, and vision. That is why he refuses to treat a single gold medal as enough. Enough implies completion. His work, in his own mind, is far from finished.
They're still side by side with 50. Lyles trying to find something. He stretches away. It is a global title.
He sees track and field at a crossroads. Either it continues to peak only during Olympic years, or it evolves into a sport with sustained relevance. Lyles wants to be part of that evolution. Medals give him the platform to push for change, to attract sponsors, and to bring new audiences into the sport. That responsibility shapes how he speaks publicly. He chooses words carefully. He understands that younger athletes are watching. He knows that his actions set examples, whether he intends them to or not. That awareness fuels his drive to keep winning, not for ego, but for influence. The pressure of following Bolt could have broken many athletes. Instead, Lyles turned it into motivation. He accepted that comparisons would exist, but he refused to be trapped by them. Rather than chasing someone else's shadow, he focused on building his own light. That approach has made him one of the defining figures of modern sprinting, not because he declared himself so, but because he consistently shows up on the biggest stages with intent and purpose. Every race adds another layer to his story. One gold medal proves talent. Multiple gold medals prove greatness. Sustained relevance proves legacy. That is the equation Lyles lives by. It explains his hunger. It explains his refusal to settle. It explains why his medals mean more than medal. As the sport continues to evolve, Lyles stands at the center of its next chapter. He understands that being remembered requires more than speed. It requires vision, responsibility, and the courage to aim higher than what feels comfortable. In a world that often celebrates momentary success, Noah Lyles is chasing permanence. That is why one gold medal will never be enough.